I think the single most unaccounted for factor in this whole online money, drop shipping, making content influencer space. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. I think it's time. The most unaccounted factor is strictly time. Most people, like I was talking to a buddy of mine. He was 18. Well, he's not a buddy of mine. I would consider him like an acquaintance, right? He was 18. And I've known him for a little bit. We've hung out a couple times. Like, it's not like we're close friends, but he was telling me like, bro, I need to make it like as bad as I need to breathe. And he was telling me like, bro, I'm 18. You're literally the same age as me. And, I don't want to sound like, not to be in like a weird, like high horsey kind of way, but he was like, bro, like your Instagram's crazy. Like you travel the world doing this cool stuff. And he was telling me, he's like, bro, I literally wake up in cold sweats, 3 times a week. Like it's my entire life. And this guy's only been trying for like maybe the last 6-7 months. And if you really think about that, right? Because technically he started when he was 18. I started when I was 15. So the whole dilemma that most people are in, especially in this space, is they take everything as face value as like top of iceberg. Does that make sense? Like people will literally just look at age and be like, he's 18, I'm 18, I'm a loser. And that eats you up. Not only does it eat you up, but it makes your self-confidence lower, which in turn makes your results a lot longer to achieve. So everyone kind of down, like a good thing that I like to say is you overestimate your competition and you underestimate your own capabilities. You overestimate your competition and underestimate yourself. So everyone thinks that, there's like some, just because I've been doing it for, like this guy's been waking up in cold sweats and he's 18. I'm 18, but I've been doing this for 3 years. I know a guy who's 19, who's just turned 19. He already has a Huracan and a Urus. Matte black. Freaking matte, like crazy, super dope. Murdered out. And I can look at him, even though we're not that far off in age. I don't have 2 cars. I don't have a Lambo, and I don't got 2 Lambos. But he's been doing e-com since he was 12. So there's I can just take his 19-year-old age as face value, but then there's on top of that an unaccounted for 3 extra years that he has behind me. Give me 1 year, I'm going to have 2 Lambos. You see what I'm saying? So I think most people take everything as face value and they kind of get lost. I'm not going to say lost in the sauce because there's no sauce there, but they get lost in that whole dilemma of like, I'm nothing. They degrade themselves because everyone else is doing better than them on social media, which is what social media is. Everyone's doing the same, bro. Everybody's doing the exact same. I'm going to tell you, nobody's different from you. Everyone's the exact same and everyone just lives a life. That's literally what it is. No one's really doing better than you. Everyone has problems, bro. So I think most people get lost in that whole like paradox of like, oh, I'm nothing, I'm poor, I'm stupid, I need to make it, and how are these guys doing it and I'm not? And it's like, sure, like that's there, but I do think there's a perfect balance. People always say, comparison is the thief of joy. I like to say comparison is the thief of joy, but it's the key to success. So comparison could be that, taking away your joy from life. Like I can compare myself to this 19-year-old guy with 2 Lambos. I don't have a Lambo, but I also have to compare myself to him to know that I have to keep pushing and get to, where he is. So I think there's a perfect balance, and most people are like way too far on that comparison in a degrading way. They will compare themselves in a negative way. Hold on, guys. I got the hookah set up, so I'm just going to, got some double apple loaded up in here. It's pretty good. Just secured this puppy 2 days ago for the apartment. Can't complain. But I think most people, they put it in a negative light. They compare themselves in such a negative way, and it eats away at their self-confidence, which is why they don't. It eats away at their self-confidence, which in turn is going to make them, like, I guess, drag the results out a lot longer, right? Because the truth about life, like, you don't get what you actually deserve. You get what you think you deserve, right? So every single human being is where they deserve to be. But realistically, if you think you deserve more, then you're going to go get more, right? Like you, the reason you are where you are right now is because you genuinely believe that everything, every ounce of work that you've put in, people you've talked to, projects you've worked on, businesses you've tried, the work you've done, that you deserve to be in that position. I think a lot of people kind of get the whole online business space skewed, you know? I think, especially with the young guys, there's so many like, bro, they're getting younger and younger. Like, I'll talk to guys who are like, bro, you're 18? And I'm like, yeah. And then other guy, you know, will be like, I see like some 16-year-old, like, making $1 million in a month. And I'm like, dude, what? And I guarantee you we're going to have like 13-year-olds pop up like next year doing like $5 million a month. Like, it just gets crazier and crazier. And I've really been like extracting myself from that bullshit. I've really been like taking myself away and realizing like, yeah, this is so stupid, because this is literally like 2 people in the entire world that are actually pulling these numbers. And that's because they've been given that, you know, deck of cards. So I can't, you know, take my deck of cards and compare my life to theirs, right? Everyone has a deck of cards in life. And the deck of cards is, you know, where you're born, who your parents are, how much money you have, you know, if your parents funded your online business ventures, if your parents gave you business advice, you know, a bunch of things. Like, you know, if you're born in a third world country, it's going to take you a lot longer, and you're going to have to try a lot harder to see the results, opposed to me, who was born in America, right? The land of opportunity. I have Wi-Fi. I can go, you know, use any payment processor I want. I can go and set, like, it's just, my resources are there. My deck of cards, specifically in that facet, was in my favor. So, you know, I never got money from my parents to start my business stuff. I never got money from, you know, I never got help from anybody. Now, as much as I love my mom, when I was at my lowest in life, literally like on the verge of, you know, she didn't help me at all. Like, I asked her for help. She did not help me. She didn't give me anything. And I wasn't even asking her for money. I can't go into what it was, but like, I was just so far down that downward spiral, and I didn't get an ounce of help. But that's how life works. No one's going to help you. And the moment you kind of realize you have to go and get it yourself, and no one's going to come save you, because I'm going to tell you guys something. It's very harsh, but I want you to reframe it in a positive light, okay? Nobody cares. Everyone lives their own life, and as much as you could complain, like, a therapist doesn't give a shit about your, you know, what you're going to tell them. They only going to sit there and pretend like they do because they're getting paid. So, like, no one cares. Everyone has their own problems they got to deal with. You can go vent to somebody, but they truly could not care less, unless they're like your close family, and it's terrible things. But like, you see what I'm saying? No one actually cares. Like, I can sit here and I can tell you my problems. I don't expect you to give a solitary fuck about it. I don't expect you to sit here and feel bad for me. He's like, oh, you know, Smith, his mom, you know, this happened to Smith. This, like, I don't expect you to give a shit. Same way, if you were to tell me your problems, I don't care. Like, I'm gonna acknowledge it. I'm gonna be like, wow, that's terrible, bro. Like, here's some advice, whatever. I'm gonna go to sleep, wake up, and work. The sun's still gonna rise. People are still gonna go to work the next day. Like, that's how life works. So, no one really cares, and that's kind of a harsh truth that it was a pill that I had to swallow when digging myself up out of that super, super negative spot. But I think with a lot of people, like, when you're starting out this whole online business stuff, there's no sauce to be lost in, but people do get lost in that sauce. They get lost in the whole, like, I need to watch like 6 different guys. The biggest lesson that I've learned, especially when it comes to learning in my entrepreneurship journey, because I'm still learning. Like, keep in mind, I'm 18. I have a lot to learn. Have I learned a lot? Yes. Do I know a lot? Yes. But do I have a lot to learn? 1,000,000%. So realistically, I'm still learning. I think what most people go wrong with is that they try to generalize their knowledge. They try to go out and they try to learn from like 17 different guys all at once. And, you know, they try to watch this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy. You need to centralize why do you think mentors work so well? Like, having a one-on-one, one-person mentor. I don't do mentorship, so don't worry. I'm not selling you some shit. But like, why do you think why do you think mentors work so well? Why do you think every successful person ever had a mentor? It's because they're centralizing the knowledge. And when you generalize knowledge, the value of it dissipates. But when you centralize it, you're only learning from one person and one paradigm and one worldview. So of course, when you go and vet a mentor or whoever you're going to look up to, you have to make sure that, you resonate with them. Do your research, do your due diligence, do you like the things they talk about, the way they articulate themselves, the worldviews, the value that they give, etc. But you need to centralize your knowledge to one facet for 4 months to 5 months, right? Obviously you can change, and that's what I did. What I realized, and I feel like that's the moment that everything started clicking for me and the gears started shifting in my head when I was starting with my online business, was I understood that I needed to learn from one person. Because, for example, let's say you have X influencer and Y influencer, and X influencer gives an amazing, fantastic piece of advice, and Y influencer gives an amazing, fantastic piece of advice. But if they contradict each other, you retain zero. You retain none of it. Even though they could be both great pieces of advice, they're very valuable, very insightful, but if they contradict each other, you retain nothing. And that's the biggest problem I've seen, is that everyone's watching 14 different influencers, gurus, YouTubers, Instagrammers, TikTokers all at the same time, and it's just over flooding absolutely everything in their mind. Like, you cannot focus on all of that, and you can't actually retain things and implement the things that people talk about. So I feel like sticking to one person, now of course have your entertainment stuff, but when you're actually getting knowledge from somebody, stick to one person for 4 days. It doesn't have to be me. It could be me if you really like it, and I appreciate it if it is, but it could be anybody else. Just go find somebody that you resonate with, their worldviews, the value that they give. You resonate overall with as a human being. You can tell that they're authentic and genuine, and go stick with them for 4 to 5 months, sometimes even 6 to 7 months. And you will genuinely understand the value of centralizing your knowledge, right? Like, you could go ask, it's like, imagine if you were to go ask 30 NBA players on how to shoot a 3-pointer. Like, you'd have 8 different methods. You'd have like, okay, I gotta twist. I don't play basketball. Like, I gotta twist my elbow inwards like this, and like maybe Draymond Green's gonna tell me to fucking twist my elbow in like this, but then Steph Curry's gonna tell me to twist my wrist this way. It's like, now you end up doing 30 different things all at the same time, trying to get that perfect 3-pointer. But if I just go ask Steph Curry, how do I shoot a 3? I know he's good at shooting 3-pointers, so I'm gonna take down his one exact strategy at doing it. I'm going to adopt it, I'm going to implement it, and now I have the Steph Curry method. And if I want to go ask some other people down the line and they actually give me great advice on, oh yeah, try this out, and that works better for me, then I'll do that. But I'm not going to go ask 30 different NBA players all at the same time on how to shoot a 3-pointer. Does that make sense? I think a lot of guys, especially, like, I always think about like 15-year-old me. So it's like a sit-down video, right? I'm talking to you, it's real, we're keeping it, straight up. It's like a FaceTime, right? I'm always thinking about 15-year-old me when I make these kinds of videos. I'm always thinking about who like 15-year-old Smith. What would he think, and what advice does he need? And I feel like everything that I've been saying has kind of been correlating to that. I got back. Here's the thing, guys. It's the easiest it's ever been. It is by far the easiest it has ever been to succeed and see results in this space. Hold on, was that dank, guys? I need to hit another one. Blow some O's, get the dubstep going. Vape Lord Smith. But yeah, you guys get what I'm saying. So it's not a vape, by the way. Just to clarify, it's a hookah. I don't want to come across, fruity. But I think the biggest thing is, when I was starting out, it was a lot. I had nobody, bro. Like, if you guys aren't familiar with the business model I do, it's organic drop shipping. Everyone's doing it. Like, I have a YouTube and Instagram on it. There's 40 other guys with Instagrams and YouTubes on it. It's like these guys are giving advice on all of it, their strategies, methods, everything. Back in 2022, when I was doing organic, I had nobody. If you're in this organic space, Mikey again. I had him as a guest speaker in one of my community calls. And it's actually up on YouTube, so you guys can go watch that. But I had him as a guest speaker, and we were talking about, we had no influencers to watch on organic. Like now you have me, Mikey, a bunch of other guys in this space on YouTube and Instagram just giving out strategy sauce, talking about this, and that. You want to know who I had back in the day? I had Mikey, bro. Like I used to watch this guy be in the trenches being like, yo, let me run that too. So it was a little full circle moment having him as a guest speaker in my community. But like we had nobody. It's the easiest it's ever been. Every business model that works is being talked about. Every strategy is being talked about and shared on YouTube for free. It is the easiest it's ever been, and you have the most resources you've ever had to succeed. By the day, by the minute, it gets easier. And people still find a way to make it hard on themselves or, complain or is this or that. I didn't have any organic dropshipping YouTubers to watch back in the day. I didn't have anybody to watch back in the day. I was watching YouTube of just like broad motivational, like regular Iman Gadzi videos. And he's teaching SMMA. I'm sitting here for doing e-commerce. I'm like, like I didn't have that, but now everybody has that. It gets easier by the day. And I feel like it's exponential, like the easier it gets, the more people are going to succeed. I think especially with like we're getting into like a bubble in the whole online business space. We're getting into like a bubble to where everyone's going to people, especially now, are realizing it's way harder than they expected, and it's going to pop. It is going to pop. Everyone's going to quit, and it's going to be a golden age. So obviously with every single, all markets, they move in trends, up and down, whatever. So I don't really believe in saturation. Market saturation. I just believe that it's proof that something works. Little mental reframe right there. But, I believe that now we're getting into a position, especially where the markets are going now, to where this spring, summer, like 2025 is going to be arguably one of the best years for organic dropshipping 100%. But not only that, also entrepreneurship, online business. Everyone's moving online, and I do think that everyone who tried to do online business 2022, 2023, 2024, they realize it's a lot harder and it takes time. And all the idiots, the retards that were like, I'm going to make a quick 10K a month, they're ruled out. They're giving up. So the markets are kind of opening up right now to where if you are like, the bar is low, guys. The bar is fucking low. You can go and if you just work on something for 6 hours a day, every day, and you consistently learning, right? I always say like your rate of growth depends on your rate of learning and your rate of implementation. So if you learn something from this video, implement it as soon as you're done watching this video. Understand? So I think everyone's kind of like the bubble's being popped and everyone's quitting. Everyone's giving up. Everyone's like realizing it's way, because I'm not going to sit here, guys. Like I'm not going to sit here and lie. Like, yeah, I do have a program. I do info products as well. But there's not like, I'm not going to sit here and say 10K a month is easy. 10K a month is by far the most physically and mentally strenuous mission or goal you're going to try and reach in your entire life. It's not easy. It's not something you can go and just side hustle up. But it's definitely not. People, obviously people make it that way because they're trying to sell some course, because they make money from courses. That's the only income they have. If you see any motherfucker telling you 10K a month is easy, that should be a fucking beep, 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 fucking an alarm. If that isn't a red flag, I don't know what is, bro. Like 10K a month is not easy, bro. It took, oh my God, I lost friends. I ghosted friends that I knew for 6 years. I was waking up every single morning at 5 a.m. I got videos of this, waking up at 5 a.m., sitting on my laptop. When I was running my agency, I would wake up at 5 a.m. to cold call Eastern time for an agency that I was running that I didn't even sign clients for. Do you understand how stupid that is? It doesn't make sense. But here's the thing. Business is very logical, but the one illogical and delusional decision you need to make is sticking with business. Every other decision in your life should be based purely on logic, but the one illogical decision you should make is sticking with online business, because you got to be prepared to go for 6 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, a year with making $0. So I mean, a year is kind of a stretch. If you've been doing this stuff for over a year and you haven't made $1, you're either stupid or lazy. I'm going to keep it like super honest with you. You didn't try hard enough. So obviously if you give it your all, it should take you no more than like 5 months. 6 months. But the reality is like, I was waking up at 5 a.m. every single day on 5 hours, 4 hours sometimes, even 2 hours sometimes of sleep to cold call for an agency that I didn't make money in. Then I would go to school, do outreach that I didn't make money from, get all F's in my classes, come home, do more outreach and cold calls that I wouldn't make money from, to go to sleep at 12 midnight, wake up at 5 a.m. the next day, and do it all over again. That is just, if you told that to somebody, you'd be like, you're stupid. That's the stupidest shit I've heard in my life. It's illogical, it's delusional, it's unrealistic, and it's non-feasible. But I made it work. I figured my shit out. And that's what you guys need to be prepared to do, is not get results for mentally. You should be like, okay, I'm prepared to not make money, right? It's way better to set lower expectations than have higher expectations. Because I'll give you guys an example. Prisoners of war in Vietnam, whoever had an expectation for when the war was going to be over, when that expectation was like reached and the war wasn't over, they died off within a week. Because your brain is everything. Your brain controls it all. But then the pessimistic prisoners of war who believe that, I don't know when the war is going to be over, I'm just going to try and survive in the camp and see when it happens. Those guys survived. And that's kind of how because business is war. You got to look at it like this. So you got to look at business and your journey, how those pessimistic prisoners of war viewed the Vietnam War. Does that make sense? You got to look at it as like, I don't know when I'm going to, see results. I don't know when I'm going to hit 5K, 10K a month. I don't know when I'm going to do anything. I'm just going to keep working. And I know about eventually I'm either going to die or get rich or die trying. I'm either going to die or start making money. Everyone's like, big thing is everyone's focused on like the 10K month. Everyone like 10K month is, bro, it's insane. People believe that 10K month is nothing now. Is 10K month like a great amount of money? Yes, it's a lot of money. But for obviously it depends on your standards. But people treat 100K a month like 10K a month now. The numbers are inflated. Guys, none of these, like if you genuinely sit down and you see some of these guys that are saying they make like $1 million a month, I'm like, bro, these guys will do $1 million a month on 20% profit margins, and then it's not even profit because then they got to pay 15% to the team. These guys are only making 50K a month. It's like you have a cash-heavy business, but you're literally profiting 5%. Like, congratulations, idiot. They're meeting the fucking money standard for ego, not for profit. They're meeting it for ego. So, my alarm's going off. That's my alarm, guys. My alarm is the Shia LaBeouf, and he's going, do it, just do it. Make your dreams come true. That wakes me up every morning, and that shit works. And sometimes I'll have like girls over, and like that'll go off like at like 6 a.m. on like a Saturday morning, and they're like, what the fuck is that? I'm like, dog, don't worry about it. But yeah, that's besides the point. I'm not even gonna cut that out. I'm gonna keep that in the video. But who could hit? We're back. Zen Mind. Nicotine plus caffeine equals protein. Guys, look at this tattoo I got. Is it cool? I think it is. It's still healing right now. It's the Jesus' crown of thorns. I was in Miami. One of my clients has a bunch of tattoos. I'm like, yo, those are pretty cool, bro. And I was sitting at dinner, like, you guys should watch that vlog, but we're sitting at dinner. He's like, yo, you should get tattoos. I'm like, I don't know, man. And I literally like a week and 2 weeks later after I got back, I was like, I'm going to get a tattoo. So, yeah. But besides the point, it's insane. When did 100K a month become the new 10K a month? Back in the day, if you were making 10K a month, you were top fucking G, bro. If you were making 20K a month, you were like Bugatti rich. Now everyone views like there's like 6 guys in the space with Bugattis. Like, what the fuck? Like, what? That's insane. So, I don't know. I wanted to come on here and kind of just give you guys a bunch of advice that I wish I heard when I was, 15 trying to start out. But you got to be prepared to see no results. If you have an expectation, I think expectations are the worst things to have. Ever. Now, of course, when you're running business, you have metrics and KPIs and expectations that, of course, you're going to have those. But when I say expectations, I mean like, oh, I'm going to do this at this time. Humans are terrible with time. Psychologically, we don't understand time frames. So if you want to hit 10K a month within 5 months, you could be putting in your all, but if 5 months hit and you're not at 10K a month, you're going to, you know what I'm saying? Like you're just going to go downward spiral. So it's way better to operate at like 80% 24/7 than 100% for 2 weeks and then fall off for 2 weeks. That's what I've realized. So there's such a weird culture in this online space about like working 24/7 and being on 100%. You're going to get burnt out. Burnout is very real. I'm not going to sit here and be like, and like Mr. Tate and be like, what, burnout? Do you want to get rich or not? Burnout. I'm not going to sit here and go like, burnout. Burnout is real. Like you gotta take into account working super hard, but also neuroscience, like literally how humans psychologically function. Burnout's very real, which I realized is why I traveled the world. I went to Cape Town, Croatia, Miami, Switzerland, Amsterdam, Serbia, London. Like I went around the world, man, and I'm back here and I'm dialed and I'm locked in. And I'm super blessed to be in the position I've had. I think the biggest thing that people try and do is, in pursuit of money, is losing God in the process. I always like to say, never leave without the man you came with. Everyone, when because here's the thing, once you get money, it opens up every door. Like, why you see all these rich guys with escorts? Because $1,000 to them is nothing. They're just going to, escort, yeah, solved. Because they're just meeting the expectations off rip. It's like, never leave without the man you came with. If you came with God, you leave with him as well. If you hit 10K a month with God, you better hit 20K a month with him as well. I'm Christian personally, clearly, but it's like people use God as a cop-out, and people use God as like, he's going to do this for me, or he's going to get me success when I deem it I'm ready, and this and that. And he's given you the resources. He's given you everything. You're watching this video. You have Wi-Fi and a device to work on. You can get rich today. You can go get rich today. But he's not going to go make your Shopify store for you. He's like, God gives you the access to have $30 a month to go hit the gym and live in a city with a gym. He's not going to go, bench 225 for you. He's not going to go hit your new PR. You got to do that yourself, bro. God's not stopping you. He literally chose you as a sperm cell out of hundreds of millions of others, and you're still sitting here being like, I'm not ready. I'm like, motherfucker, when he chose you out of hundreds of millions of other motherfuckers that came out your daddy's balls, he chose you. He's like, I want that one. And you were the fastest swimmer, and you got chose. And it is your duty, my brother, to go get a bag. Go make something of yourself, I was thinking about it the other day. I think it was crazy. Imagine if, because uni loans, right? You can go get a loan to go to college or uni, and you're only allowed to use that on like college or university. I think that's great. Like, imagine if you were to just give like $50K, like someone's like, yo, I want to run up a branded dropshipping store. Slide me $50,000. And the government's like, cool, bro, run it up. Bro, everyone would be millionaires. The dollar would go to zero because of how rich people would be. Obviously, it's a system that's been created, but like, I literally dropped out of high school, so I don't know like too much about college and stuff, but I did learn that you can only use like loans like that for college. I'm like, that's the craziest thing I've heard. If you go get a loan, you can only use it for college. It's like, bro, people are financing burritos. You can Klarna your Chipotle bowl. That is how you know that we are in a terrible position as a world economically. So you need to lock the fuck in, because it's going to be have-nots or have-yachts in the next 4 years. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, by 2026, 2027, the whole online business making money space is going to be done. It's going to be over. I highly anticipate that. I don't think people are going to be making the money they are making today or the past like 3 years, because the world is going to be progressively worse and worse as far as opportunities go. AI is coming out. Everyone's getting replaced. Like, you don't think that McDonald's already replacing people with AI. We got Wendy's AI drive-thrus. Like, if you don't think within the next 3 years that the jobs are going to be in half, you're stupid. And you know what happens when jobs are in half? People are going to riot and protest and revolt. There's going to be a revolution within the next 7 years, and it's going to be bad. So what are you going to be? In your house getting rioted and looted? Or are you going to be on a fucking private jet to New Zealand in your Batman cave, chilling, sipping the fucking Johnny Walker with Tristan? The choice is yours, man. So I think they get lost in the sauce, bro. Like most people aren't stuck because they lack time. They're stuck because they waste the time that they already have. You have the time. You can go make an extra 3 hours a day. Most people can. Like if that involves skipping the gym, then so be it. You can always, get more jacked, but you can't have the opportunities in making money today. So genuinely, obviously, I'm not saying don't go hit the gym. Hit the fucking gym, bro. But like if you're struggling and that's that's kind of like deflecting and you can't actually go make money, fuck the gym. Lock in, right? People could scrape together a couple extra hours. You're not struggling with motivation, you're struggling with clarity. Most people are working towards, there's a Nietzsche quote. He who has a why can bear any how. Okay? He who has a why can bear any how. And you need to understand that you don't have a motivation problem. It's not that you lack motivation, it's that you lack clarity. You lack an understanding on where you want to go. Does that make sense? You don't understand what your goal is or what you're working towards, right? So I always understood that my why was freedom. I made $10,000 in a day multiple times. And that's not as a good feeling as when I got my passport. That's not as good of a feeling as when I got my passport, because with my passport, I had full freedom. See, I have 2 passports. I have dual citizenship. England. I can do anything. I'm like a superhuman. I got to get to the point where I got like 10 passports and 13 driver's licenses and 13 houses. I can just go anywhere. And if the government wants to stop me, it's a big old, So it's like most people, they don't lack motivation, they lack clarity. Because when you're going, motivation does not matter. Motivation does not become a factor. Okay? You need to understand why, because you want money, bro. Why do you want money? What do you want to buy? What are you going to do with the dollars that you got? What are you going to do? Okay, if I gave you $1 million, what are you going to do? Buy a Lambo? Stupid. If I give you $1 million, what are you going to do? Most people don't even know what they want. They don't have a why, which is why they're struggling to find motivation. Okay, the why always has to be bigger than yourself. Eventually, you're going to make enough money and you're going to meet that surface level why on making money, and you're going to have to push further. And that's going to be maybe for your parents, your girlfriend, your wife, your kids. Like I have a friend, he's 26 and he's a kid, and this guy works like crazy. And I asked him, I'm like, do you think that you work way harder because you have a kid? He's like, bro, I think if I didn't have a kid, I'd probably be broke right now. And I was like, damn, I need to go get someone pregnant. No, I'm joking. But like, you see what I'm saying? You don't have a motivation problem, you have a clarity problem. And that's reality, okay? Most people want success, but they also want comfort, okay? Most people want success, but they want comfort. The reality of that is that success is way further out of your comfort zone. Once you get the success, then you can be comfortable and live in your comfort zone. You never live in your comfort zone. You get what I'm saying? But like most people want success, but what they really want is comfort. And the reality is that success lives way outside your comfort zone. And especially the people around you want to stay in their comfort zone as well. If you want to get more, stop hanging out with people that are okay with less. I cut off like 5 friends that I knew for like 6 years. For 6 years, I knew these guys, and they were clowning on my efforts in making money and doing this and that. And I blocked them on everything, even on Discord, Snapchat, Instagram, their phone numbers, everything. And I just went tunnel vision on hitting 10K a month. I went crazy. And I think that's why it worked. Obviously, everyone's, oh, you're the sum of the 5 people you hang around with. It's very true. It's all inputs. Inputs affect your mind. This video is an input, right? You got to self-program your mind. If you're sitting here watching, the Talk to a podcast, you're not going to get rich, bro. If you're brain rotting yourself 24 hours a day, you're not going to get rich. But if you're sitting there watching educational content, bro, not only are you going to be the smartest motherfucker on earth, you're going to be on a higher level of consciousness. You're going to be able to think and talk. Your thought process and your decision making is going to be top fucking notch. Does that make sense? People don't fail because they set their goals too high. It's because they set their goals too low and they actually reach them. So you can't just have 10K a month as a goal. Obviously, I think everyone gets lost and they're like, oh, I want to, hit 10K a month. I want to do this. I want to do that. Focus on 1K a month, bro. Focus on, $100, your first $100 online. Focus on your first sale. But everyone is like trying to focus on, I want to get this. I wanted to. The reality is that you need to have a set out plan. Obviously, don't plan everything because I do think that people, I like the term analysis paralysis. You're basically planning, analyzing everything. You never actually get to doing the work. But most people, they go and they let's say you hit 10K a month. Now what? The reality is you don't set your goals too high. You set your goals too low, and you actually reach them. That's what I realized. My goals were way too low. I had a goal to, my goal right now is $100,000 a month profit consistently every single month. I had 10K a month. My next goal was 20. Hit 20. Next goal was 30. Then it was 50. Then it was like 75. Now I'm at 75. Where's the next goal? 100. And I know that the end goal for me is $1 million a month cash profit. That's the goal. So at the end of the day, I have to have that million set up in my mind in the future, or else if I hit 100K a month, my goals wouldn't be too low and I would have reached it. And that was the motivation, right? You don't got to be smart, man. Now here's the thing. I can sit here and say that like I'm an idiot and I'm not smart. I do think that and this is going to sound ego-y or high horsey. I do think that I am smarter than most people. Which is what, but you can become smarter than most people. Sixth grade me, seventh grade me, that was like gooning 6 times a day. That was like, playing video games. I'll play Rust, if you know that game, for like 20 hours at a time, like 18-hour Rust sessions. Like, spawning on beach, snowballing, hitting Oxum's gas station, bro. Like, crafting double barrels and Iokas and door camping clans and then doing stuff like that for 18 hours. And then gooning another 4 hours, and then sleeping for 2 hours. Like, those were my days. And of course, that kid was stupid. But don't think that you are set out to be you. You can always change your life, and free will is very real. Free will is insane. I've read a book, it's right there, Reality Transurfing. That is the best book I've ever read, and I highly suggest it. Use my affiliate. No, I'm just joking. But you see what I'm saying? Free will is very real, and people think that life is cut out for them, or it's this, or life is like they think that the universe is given some kind of life path for them to follow. The universe didn't give me this life path. I decided to be like, yo, fuck everybody, fuck you. I'm gonna lock in and get my shit done. Did I expect to be specifically where I am today? No, but did I expect to be in a better position? Yes. You can go and become that kind of person. Does that make sense? Video's getting a little long, 40 minutes almost. So I'm going to kind of work on wrapping it up. A lot of you motherfuckers, you're addicted to consuming information, but you're allergic to applying it. I want you guys to if it takes you to rewatch this video, then so be it. But I want you to take notes and write down like the main fundamentals of what I said in this video. Okay? Because I do think this is very insightful. Was it like very technical e-commerce video? No. But was it overall fundamentally helpful? If I gave this, 40-minute video to 15-year-old me, he'd start crying. Probably. I don't know. He was kind of a bitch. But you see what I'm saying? So you guys are all consuming, but you're literally allergic. You're addicted to consuming, but allergic to executing and implementing it. So to sum up, like the last thing is always learn, always go and do stuff, always, take in this new information, but centralize it. Going back to what I was saying earlier, like 20 minutes ago, centralize your information and implement it. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, if you guys enjoyed, or if you found value, drop a subscribe. If you want to apply for working one-on-one with me, the link will be down below. feel free. I'm not going to push it. My Instagram is fantastic. It's at RealSmithReese. So just look up Smith Reese. I'll probably pop up. First name is Smith. Last name is Reese. Okay. People get that wrong. Funny enough, I was actually named after the Smith & Wesson, the gun, which is pretty cool. The gun, the Smith & Wesson. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope I was able to maybe give you some insight, some philosophical value and whatnot. And I hope to see you in the next video if you enjoyed. And I love y'all. So remember, take care, keep fucking working hard, and Jesus loves you.